Tricia Miller, great to be with you. You're with CAMERA. Can you explain what CAMERA is?
Yes, I can, and thank you, Chris, for having me on. CAMERA stands for the Committee for Accuracy in Middle East Reporting and Analysis. It's a media watch organization, the oldest, started in 1982, monitoring everything going on in the Middle East, specifically about Israel.
Yeah, and why are you part of that organization?
As a Christian, I am following especially everything going on in the Christian world in general, the evangelical world in particular, to monitor everything going on in the church in relation to Israel and anti-Semitism.
And over your years with CAMERA, what have you found in the media?
The mainstream media grossly distorts anything in relation to Israel and the Jewish people. Anti-Semitism in particular. They distort it through omission of facts and misleading headlines, false pictures, lies, and so CAMERA corrects the lies.
Yeah, and what kind of impact have you had?
A great impact, and since October 7th, an even greater impact, because with the media turning on Israel even more since October 7th, all of our analysts have been working literally around the clock and answering and refuting and contacting editors, contacting reporters, and getting a record number, more corrections than ever from major outlets.
So what happened on October 7th? How did the media sort of go exponentially in what they were doing?
Well, the major assault on Israel that happened in the first day or two, pretty much people in the world, the media, even world governments said, oh, this is horrible. But within a day or two, the world literally turned, including the media, turned on Israel before Israel had even gone into Gaza. But they turned on Israel, and somehow Israel became the bad guy. And there were justifications being offered as to why the terrorists were justified in doing what they did, the atrocities they did.
And denial as well?
Denial, yes. Denial and accusations that Israel made it up, or that some of these scenes were created by AI, when in fact, most of the coverage we have of that day is from the terrorist cameras themselves. But people are not willing to believe it.
Yeah. And what examples can you cite of some of the major media that's really turning on Israel?
The New York Times, the BBC, Washington Post, and some here in Israel as well.
And what kind of impact does that have on the church?
Unfortunately, a horrible impact, because a lot of Christians only listen to the mainstream media. And when I'm talking to them, I tell them they need to listen to you because you present the facts. But the mainstream media is intentionally distorting what happened that day. Yeah,
well, we try. We're trying to report accurately.
You're doing a great job, and the Christian world really needs you. And Christians need to be watching you. But if they're only watching mainstream media, they're getting the wrong impression of Israel.
Yeah. Is there a sense within pastors or the churches that they don't want to touch this subject, they don't want to address Israel, and they don't want to be too political?
Right. A lot of pastors, a lot of the work I do is to reach out to pastors, to speak in churches, to educate them. And the response I get from a number of pastors, unfortunately too many, they don't want to touch this subject because it's political. And I say, this is not political, this is biblical. To the Jewish people, are a biblical issue for Christians.
So if there was a pastor out there watching right now, what would you tell them?
That they need to be telling their people to watch you. They need to have people like me in their church to educate them about the facts. When I speak, I go through the biblical, all the way from Genesis to Revelation. Why do we support the Jewish people? What does God say about the Jewish people? What is his heart for them? And what are his plans for this restored nation of Israel? These are the ancient Jewish people who have come back to their ancient homeland, and people in the church need to understand our intimate connection as Christians to the Jewish people and to Israel.
And if pastors want to know more about you, how can they find out more about you and CAMERA?
They can go to CAMERA's website, is www.camera.org. They can email me at tricia@camera.org. You have to spell it Tricia at camera.org.
Any final